a recording or a workshop.
It's being recorded.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Wednesday, St. Patrick's Day 2021 TARC meeting, TARC committee meeting, and it is 4:03 p.m. We've discussed this previously. This is not an official committee meeting. We have to wait for that, but we are, what we're calling these are workshops. So it's like we're not taking any, we're not making motions or anything. We can give suggestions, but we cannot make a motion on any of the items. So with that, I'd like to go around the Zoom meeting or whatever, the screen, and have everyone introduce themselves. And I'll just start. Let's start with the TARC members. I'm Alex David, the chair of the TARC.
Juan Crespi, TARC member.
Juan.
Hey, Debbie Swain, Vice Chair.
Debbie.
Richard Strime from Miami Beach.
Okay.
Roy from the town of Medley, TARC.
Okay, so we have 5 members present. Okay, so we just have 2 informational items. So let's start with the first item, Oscar, unless you need to say anything.
No, this is I don't know if you want to go over the rules, but I think we've done the rules before. It's kind of redundant after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is just a landscape project under the purview of FDOT, and I believe Kevin Shaw will do the introduction to this effort, and then I'll be taken over by the consultant.
Thank you, Oscar. And my name is Kevin Schott. I'm the district landscape architect for District 6. Oscar and I combined, before the meeting here to kind of handle the introduction. So thank you for that. And thank you for TARC for the platform to be communicating with you once again. It's good to see everyone who is on the call today. Some of you all may recognize me from prior meetings, although it's been a while since we presented a landscape standalone. I believe it's probably been about a year or so since the last presentation for a landscape standalone project to TARC. Not because we didn't want to, but that's just the nature of our scheduling as it goes here. Yes, today we are presenting for FM number, as you can see on the screen. I believe everyone should have access to view to the screen. And Oscar, just for confirmation, are you running the presentation or is Kirk?
Actually, it's Lisa Juan, the consultant for the TPO. So Lisa.
Oh, okay. Can we roll back to the prior screen? Thank you very much. 429346-4-5201, State Road 916. That's a northwest, northeast 135th Street from Northwest 6th Avenue to State Road 5, Biscayne. And at this time, I'd like to introduce some of you may know or have met Kirk Husak before. He's our consultant with KCI. He was a prior district landscape architect for District 6, so everybody's in great hands here. And Kirk, I'd like to kind of offer this over to you now, since you had prepared this presentation, to take it away.
All right, thank you, Kevin. So as Kevin mentioned, I'm Kirk Hozak, practice leader for landscape architecture with KCI Technologies. Todd is the project manager and designer of record for this project, but he could not be here today, so I'll be taking the presentation on his behalf. So this project basically entails, it's a standalone landscape project, and it's basically from I-95 to Biscayne Boulevard on 135th Street. is basically going to be following a roadway project that is adding some narrow medians where there are currently, I guess, the suicide lanes. So that's not built yet. It should have started construction by now. I'm not sure. It's expected to be
Yeah.
done.
I can help clarify there, Kirk. The construction was anticipated to begin last month. From what I've heard, this is a Wausau project. It's a water and sewer, Miami-Dade water and sewer. It was a prior FDOT roadway project with the same FM as our landscape standalone, with the exception of it was 429346-1. Wausau has since taken over that project from the FDOT from the construction standpoint. We do have, of course, CEI's construction engineers on site to assist with that project. The project is on target to be on schedule. It was supposed to have started last month, and the anticipated completion date is around the summer of 23, or I guess spring of 23. And we also have an intersection improvement project that ends summer of 23, which you will see. I'd like to point out a key point here. Our letting is currently in July of 23 for this landscape project. And the reason for that is so that we're following the two projects that are currently and will be under construction preceding the landscape project. So thank you for the opportunity to clarify there.
Okay. So we can go ahead and start at the next slide. So just to kind of give you a little information about the project, the construction budget is about $650,000. Originally, this did not have irrigation in it, and the city has requested irrigation. So we were trying to get some sleeves in with the roadway project, but I believe that they were not able to accommodate that because we had, I guess, missed the deadline by the time it was decided that irrigation was a go. So the budget on this will probably climb a little bit to incorporate the sleeves for the irrigation system. As Kevin was starting to mention the project schedule, it had started design in 2018, late 2018, I'm sorry, 2019. It's gotten on hold since the roadway project was on hold. And so the new letting date is July of 2023. This project is primarily in the city of North Miami. There's a few portions of it that unincorporated Dade crosses the street. But the city has agreed to maintain the entire stretch from 95 to Biscayne Boulevard. So at the beginning of this project, it's a one-way pair, and there's really no opportunities until the roadway comes back together. So the landscape project, technically, the improvements will start around that area where the road merges. So basically, this project will install some trees and palms, some shrubs and ground covers in the newly constructed raised medians, hopefully designed to slow traffic. The irrigation will be installed. There will be, I believe, kind of two water taps splitting the project in half because it's about 3 miles long, but it'll be handled with one controller. Kevin had already mentioned the force main project that's preceding this one. The median section improvements are they're only about 9 feet wide, so we're not going to be able to get like extra large trees in there like big shade trees, but there'll be medium-sized trees and palms kind of dotting the whole project. Typically, the standards don't allow for trees within 100 feet of the beginning of the medians. We have requested a variation from that design standard to be able to plant to the max. And that seems to be going through without any hiccups. It has not been approved yet, but there's no anticipated issues that would stop it. As we mentioned, that there is an MOA currently in process of being executed to maintain the landscape and the irrigation. You want to go to the next slide? So here's basically some photos of the existing conditions. Right now, you'll see the turn lanes, and that's basically where the medians will be. The area is mostly residential. The center of the corridor is Cagney Park. That's kind of where the irrigation controller will be situated. There's an entry wall there, and the electrical hookups are all right there. So this project is just over 3 miles in length. Next slide, please. So here's a typical section. And so there's a location map up in the top that shows exactly where this median is. So this is one of the ones that will have more of a shade tree with some shrubs. It looks like the city, in coordination with them, they were looking at blueberry flax, coontie, and then where we can get a little taller, some variegated schefflera, crown of thorns. So this is more of an unrestricted condition where there's not sight lines and you can actually get the heights up a little bit more. And then I believe the next one will be a restricted condition, which will be more in the palm realm. You could see an elevation of kind of what it'll look like below. So we can move on to the next slide. So this is more of a typical restricted condition where you don't have as much leeway. You'll have to have the skinnier palms spaced 20 feet on center. Within the limits of clear sight, we have to stay really short. Nothing over 18 inches may be placed in here. So they're looking at some trailing lantana, society garlic, juniper, some green island ficus. And then the bottom is the elevation of kind of what that would look like. And to kind of help give the illusion of a larger canopy, the palms are kind of undulating up and down. And they're about as tight as they can go. Next slide, please. I think. So here is your basic plant palette of what's being proposed on the job in its entirety. The satin leaf or bridal veil will kind of be alternated as kind of your tree. The skinny palm would be solitaire. And your dwarf, natal plum, pitch apple, ficus, schefflera would be some of your bigger shrubs. Peanut, blueberry flax, juniper, liriope, trailing lantana, jasmine, and society garlic are your smaller shrubs. Next slide, please. So I guess that's it. Is there any questions on the project design or?
Yeah, I'd like to start, and also welcome Anab. You're on the in the meeting now too, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, welcome. So now we have 6 members present. Anyway, okay, so I wish there were more examples because I mean this is a 3-mile corridor and it is different in different areas. I mean, it's a one-way pair to the west. There are 2 schools on 135th across from each other. There's some multifamily, there are businesses, it's a mixed bag in there. So, and then you hit the park near Biscayne Boulevard. So, I mean, is it just going to be the same all the way? I mean, there's not much variety. You only showed us 2 things. So
So, I mean, what we were showing was basically the two typical type of treatments. And so obviously wherever we have, so there was two type of situations, restricted and unrestricted. So the restrictions will determine what we have. I think there will be more palm than tree overall. I can't remember exactly how many medians there are. We do have a full plan set that we could probably share with you.
Right. I mean, I don't think
don't
you're
know if you
gonna get a
have-
lot for 600, but I mean, you know, what I didn't see is the one-way pair. I mean, those are really wide. So what treatment's happening in those two areas?
So in the one-way pair, there's no treatment happening. There's the road is wide, but there are no bulb outs being created or the traffic separators being created like they are in the main portion of the road. And there's not much opportunities on the road sides as well.
Because that's more residential, single family. So really, there's no special treatment at the schools. It's just whatever can go in there, can go in there.
We're maximizing the planting wherever we can.
And I mean, this is within the city of North Miami, for the most part. So did you say that this pallet was approved? I mean, you worked with the city to come up with this pallet?
The city was able to comment on this. They've already seen the plans, and this was discussed in some city meetings.
Okay.
We probably spent a little bit more time on the irrigation, and they wanted to make sure the hookups were on their water and not on the county system. And
Right. I mean,
you know,
they have their own
working out-
water system, so okay.
Right. That was more of their focus.
Okay. And then there's no lighting associated with this?
There's no landscape lighting.
Okay. Alrighty, I guess that's it for me. So,
Thank you, Alex.
who wants to go next?
I got a question on
Okay, Juan.
with their palms. I heard your explanation about the undulations, but what is the minimum height or caliper you wanna require? Because the undulation to me means, you know, you wanna go from 6 feet to 20 feet. And I think I prefer to see them developed than an undulating pattern.
So I believe there's three sizes, and the shorter ones would need to meet the DOT's MRP, which means you got to have at least the fronds have to be over 14.5 feet over the road. So we're probably specking them around 16 feet. I can get the exact spec in 1 second. 77. I don't have a complete plan set with the plants at the end. I believe they were 16, 20, and 24 feet height solitaires. Those are typically in the 4-inch range. That is what allows them to be as close as 20 feet apart when you have a restricted condition. If they were any bigger than that, they'd have to be much further apart, and then you'd have like only a handful in a median. They'd have to be 40, 50 feet apart as opposed to 20.
I mean, eventually they're all gonna maxed out in size, you know, so somewhere down the line, they're gonna be the same height, but
Well, we're trying to stagger them as much at the beginning. Hopefully they all grow at similar rates, but the road is a harsh condition, so we'll see with the irrigation and hopefully the city's fertilizer. Hopefully they'll get the best they can. I believe the roadway is putting in a landscape medium soil, so they'll have better dirt than typical. We had them excavate and put in a landscape soil.
and the next is the general question, is FDOT doing away or not designing new suicide lanes and going more towards the previous turning medians, you know, with a landscape buffer? Or is this only particular to here?
I think that's more of a question for roadway designers at DOT. I can certainly relay that message or the inquiry.
No, I just needed to know if there was a feeling there that, you know, that there is an inclination to doing medians again or not, you know, no.
I think the design standard typical sections usually don't allow the suicide lanes anymore. It might be an ASHTO. But you know, they don't always follow the standards. Sometimes it depends on you know, the area that they have. They have to vary it from the standards. You know, we always start with the standard and then see what we can fit and have to make changes. I'm not sure what the preference is.
Needless to say, our committee, you know, obviously is not in favor of the suicide lanes. We prefer to see the medians with landscaping, you know, but again, it's whatever the standards say, you know.
I'm in agreement with you. I like medians as opposed to asphalt. I could plant landscape in a median. I can't do it in the asphalt.
Okay, that's it for me.
Yeah, just one more question, you know, I believe I guess it's North Miami doing the work. They're actually doing, it just dawned on me. They're doing a similar project on 125th. Are you familiar with that project? They're putting in narrow medians and bulb out, you know, they're adding landscaping to the sidewalk area and then also in some areas along 125th, putting in medians.
Vaguely familiar with, I know they added some, I don't think it was quite this substantial what they did on 125th Street. Kevin, I think we had a push button to do some minimal planting on 125th Street. There was another job on 119th Street that was just installed.
119th, okay. Yeah,
119th
but I mean, they're doing the 125th now. I mean, you know, they're going down, but I mean, I've seen it. You know, the trees are in it and stuff. I mean, I go to a lunch place on 9th and 125th. That's why I know in that block they're doing, you know, they put in trees in a median and all this other stuff. So I'm not sure what else they're doing, but I know, you know, I've seen some stuff going in. So, I mean, I'm sure it's similar because, you know, they're both in the city. So hopefully it's, you know, similar. So.
I will say that they are not maintaining 119th Street, so there's no irrigation and probably less shrubs. So there is a little bit more variety and attention to this project versus 119th Street from the city. You had mentioned they were doing the project though.
Well, I don't know who is, but the landscaping and construction are happening now.
Okay. On
Yeah.
125th Street.
Is that location on 125th? Is that around the I-90? Is that around I-95?
No, I'm talking about the block. I mean, I know because like I said, my lunch place is 9th and 125th. So that block between 9th and 8th, which is where their city hall is, that's being done. I think they're going.
That project was a grant project by, that was a grant that the city of North Miami installed in conjunction with FDOT. It was a matching grant.
Okay.
That's mainly the application process and the financials come from central office in Tallahassee. I act as the project manager on those projects, but mainly the management is a contractual type management. The construction management and the design is handled by the local agency in the beautification projects. And if you had seen some tree installations in that area, that was a recent installation done by the city of North Miami that they likely are currently still performing some establishment maintenance on the material that was installed. And then I also know that there is coordination and an internal design project on 125th at kind of the 5 points, if you will, intersection there,
Right.
kind of,
Yep.
but yeah, they're rerouting traffic. That's actually coming southbound on Dixie to, I believe it's 127th. It reroutes the traffic from South Dixie onto 6th via 127th, I believe it is.
Right, it's around
And
there. You're
that,
right.
yeah, that project is also working on the, for lack of a better term, I guess, plaza area that's there with a new bus stop location. We've been actively working with the city of North Miami to work out some of the details of the hardscape layout and some of the potential for landscape. But I believe any landscape project that is to follow there would be, we're providing areas for the city to install trees, but the installation of landscape, I believe, will may or may not occur depending upon what the city decides.
Right, so what I'm getting at, just not to belabor 125th too much, but you're coordinating, all of this has been coordinated for 125th with the city.
All of the plaza and the,
I'm sorry, 135th, all of 135th has been
oh,
coordinated with the city.
yeah, they have a resolution that's been passed with anticipation of the MMOA to be executed. The project, our landscape project, and I believe, you know, the roadway project was deferred because of the activity of a WASA project that then took on the roadway project. But yes, to answer your question, it has been coordinated with the city.
Okay.
And
perfect.
we also continue coordination with the city as far as the species and as Kirk had mentioned, you know, the review meetings, you know, we want to make sure that we're installing material that the city is requesting for their continued maintenance as well.
Okay, well, that's all I want to hear. So, okay, so Juan, did you have anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Anyone else on the committee?
Yes, this is Debbie.
Debbie?
Hey. I have just a couple comments about some of the plant selections. One is, I know it's not necessarily easy to find, and a solitaire palm is cheap and readily available, but it's also a very unfortunate selection in that they do have some tendency to be invasive. So I'd like to see if there's something that's that has that small caliper, small height, and but is something that's not known to be somewhat invasive. The other is the Schefflera. That's also another unfortunate selection. Interestingly, you have it right next on your plant palette, right next to that beautiful native Kunti. But I don't know if there's something else. Certainly something between the Green Island ficus. The Green Island ficus will get big enough to match the Schefflera also. I don't know that you need to have that. That's my comments. I'm a big Florida native, Florida friendly person. I try and avoid those things that we know are somewhat invasive in Florida.
Okay, thank you. Yep.
I was going to say, just to respond to your question, there are other palms. They don't necessarily work well with the restrictions. So you have two scenarios in a restricted condition. You have site distance triangles, and then you have horizontal clearance triangles. Most of the restrictions on this one are going to be from the site distance. And that's where if you have a palm that's 20 feet, 4 inches or caliber or less, you can put them within 20 feet of each other, no closer. you start getting bigger calipers for different species, and they have to get placed much further apart, maybe 45 feet. So you end up with way less, even though you might have a nicer palm. There are other palms like Thrynex,
Mhm.
but the Thrynex is generally not available in a height that will work with sight distance triangles. So while it might be able to be spaced 20 feet on center, it doesn't get the height.
Mhm.
And I mean, you can spec them 12 foot, 14 foot, but that's extremely hard to find.
I find the solitaire palms, which by the way, I'm bordered by them with my neighbor who planted them. They're just sticks with some fronds on the top by the time they reach full maturity. They're not very attractive in the long term. There's many palms that they may not get the height, and so maybe that's a problem. But they're attractive for their lifetime as opposed to solitaire. It's very inelegant. That's what I'm going to tell you.
I feel bad because I'm okay with the solitaires. And if a second one happens to,
I'll see. I don't know. Now you can't see out there.
I mean, I know what you're saying about being an invasive, but in the environment they're in, we're going to grow in the asphalt. So
No, they're going to blow into the neighbors' yards and pop up.
you think so?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's when they're small, you can pull them out, but yeah, I find I have them on the north side of my property, and I find them growing on the south side of my property, and I don't have anyone else with them around me. So we're always pulling them up.
Well, these will be, there's no plantings on the roadsides. It's only in the medians here. So you'll
Right.
have at least 30 feet on either
Yeah.
side of asphalt.
Yeah, I have a house in between where I find them sometimes and where they grow. So I know it's an unfortunate.
Just because you're surrounded.
I agree.
Huh?
Alex, you're muted.
Sorry. Anything else, Debbie?
No, that was it.
And I'd also now like to welcome Sunless. He's on in the meeting, so we're doing really well today. So with committee members. So does anyone else from the committee have any questions or comments?
What's the next step with this project?
90%. Yeah, we have our 90% submittal coming actually about a year from now. Yeah, there's some time built in there, but the reason the time is in there is because of the WASA project and us having to extend the schedule out. Again, this project began in 2019, so it's already been. It was late 2019, so it hasn't been quite 2 years, but this November will be 2 years. So it'll be 90% submittal in February of 22. The following submittal is in August of 22. That's 100%. And the letting is in July of 23 currently. And likely will stay there unless there are further delays, which would be unanticipated delays on the current ongoing WASA project. So my part of my job is to communicate with the engineers, construction office and such, just to understand that they're still on target. And in the event that there is a shift in their schedule, we need to adjust our schedule accordingly. My aim is to get the landscape in at a target near directly after the WASA project is done, so we can, as much as possible, have a seamless, seemingly seamless construction of the area.
Okay, thank you for that. Oscar?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I don't have everyone on the screen, so, so again, we're in workshop mode, because we were told we can't meet in the TPO offices in person right now, or any board, not just us, any committee. We're not meeting in person. Has there been any word on the street about when potentially, or are we going to just be workshopping until, a year from now, and then these items will never get, our official comments?
Yes. I'll be going to the office tomorrow because the TPO board is meeting physically in the office. They have their dedicated boardroom. And I'm going to talk to those persons to see, because there's other conference rooms in there. And we are 8, but when you need a social distance 6 feet, that really creates a problem. So when I go in tomorrow, I'm going to ask to see what options we have so far, because nor BPAC, nor FTAC, nor CTAC, the other advisory committees, have met in person yet. Everybody's still in workshop mode. So when I go in tomorrow, I'm going to ask that question if we have that option to meet in person. And the rule is, once we have quorum, other members of the TARC, meaning members, can join the meeting virtually and vote. But the
Right.
key is to have physical quorum before you can add other people virtually.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have meetings that are being done that way also. Also, the County Small Business Advisory Committee meeting is meeting in person, or they're meeting in person, but I don't think they have as many members as we do.
Like we may do a few weeks ago, I was at the office again for TPC, the Transportation Planning Council. And we're not meeting in our new building in the Bank of America, 150 West Flagler. We're meeting in the Stephen P. Clark Center, the 111 government building, on the 18th floor, where TPC used to be held when we were over there. And that room, they combined, if any of you remember, 18.3 and 18.4 had that folding corrugated wall. So now that room is pretty big. I think it can handle up to almost 30 people virtually because it's such a large area. So we could easily accommodate a meeting in there. So I'm going to work with the staff at the office and the building manager. And obviously we don't want to meet for just one item that maybe is not critical. So of course I'll work with the chair, Alex, and see how we go from here.
Right, yeah, because now we have, one other item that we heard that's in limbo, like this one will be too, right? There's only one, so. All right, do any of the committee members have anything else on this item?
No.
So basically, long and short is hopefully within by the end of the year, we could meet in person and officially adopt a resolution for this item. So we hope. So
Or
Oscar,
sooner.
I'm sorry?
Or sooner.
Yeah, or sooner, yes.
And then we can pass the November minutes.
Yay, yeah, that's what I mean, it's gonna be a backlog, so that's why, I'm kind of antsy to get going and meet in person, or at least some of us to have, the quorum.
I'm fully vaccinated. I'm ready to go.
Good for you.
I was kind of surprised when you said the end of the year. I thought you were thinking the end of the month.
So, okay, with that, I'm going to close this item, and thank you, Kevin and Kirk, for presenting, and then we'll be in touch.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having us on.
Yes,
Thanks.
thank you very much.
Take care.
Talk to you later.
Bye for now.
Okay, now the fun part. Our annual ranking of projects. What it's called is the alternative transportation alternatives for this year. So people have, municipalities have, or the county departments have requested grants or funds to, be allocated for certain projects around the county. This is not the version that was sent this morning. We took off 2 of the ineligible projects. Now they're eligible, and that was the South Miami project is now eligible, and the
Palmetto Bay.
Palmetto Bay is now eligible. So that's why they're not grayed out anymore. So Oscar, is it in your hands, or who's handling this one?
Yes, I'll go ahead and take it from here. Thank you, Alex.
Okay.
Yeah, we received 25 applications. I think last year we only received 12. So it was ironically, unfortunately though, this program is discretionary for FDOT. And as most of you are well aware, that the gas taxes have gone down substantially, combined with less driving and of course more efficient fuel cars. Nonetheless, we have 25 applications. Originally, 4 were deemed ineligible by FDOT. However, FHWA got involved and determined 2 of them to be re-eligible. I don't know if that's a word, I just made one up. So what I like to do is we do this every year. I think, as a matter of fact, last year when we did this, I think COVID had just hit. And I don't think we met in person on this one, last meeting when we did this. So we had everyone submit their rankings either by fax or by snapshots, by their phones or electronically. Now that we've been in this virtual environment for some time, hopefully that's the reason why I sent it out in a spreadsheet. Unfortunately, when I sent out earlier, had 4 ineligible projects. I sent one out right as the meeting started that matches this on our screen. You could use either one, just because in case you decide to elect one of the ones that were previously deemed ineligible, you could always write a number in the rank column in case you already had printed it out. Having said that, we go rank 1 through 5, 1 being the one you feel is the best, all the way through number 5. You use one number once. And we're going to go and through Google Earth and go through each one of these. And getting ready for this meeting, we realized 5 of them do not have the Google Earth file set up. So we're going to go as best we can along these. So the first one is Coral Gables. They're one of what's called water quality improvements. That's what they applied for, which essentially is pollution prevention and abatement to waterway and Biscayne Bay as a result of roadway stormwater runoff. The existing drainage system along the corridors are part of a larger system that ultimately discharges to the Riviera waterway. So that is number 1.
What, excuse me, Oscar, why is that on this committee if it's a stormwater improvement?
It's a roadway.
Yeah. It's a transportation alternatives application for funding. So it's not specific to an aesthetics committee or a freight committee. These are all, TARC ranks all of them regardless if they're aesthetics or not. It's part of the evaluation criteria process.
But for some reason, it's still eligible.
Yeah. And they were deemed eligible. They submitted in time, and water quality is eligible. Number 2 is the city of Florida City. As a matter of fact, we just completed a study for Florida City, a mobility hub study. And what they are applying for is, as a result of a study, they identified short and midterm challenges to accessibility and connectivity in the area immediately surrounding Florida City bus rapid transit system. This project will address the short-term quick fixes that can significantly enhance safe access to the station and focus on the transit core area with priority given to improvements near schools. Because as you well know, this is the terminus of the busway, and we're just trying to make it more accessible by the citizens and transit users to access. And there are a lot of sidewalks that are either missing There was actually a fence area that was cut off so they can access the South Dade Trail. So this is applicant number 2, Florida City. If we could go to the city of Hialeah, number 3. My old stomping ground as a kid. West 4th Avenue frontage road pedestrian and bike lane improvement. They want to add sidewalks to the east side of West 4th Avenue along the canal and provide a bike share lane from West 49th Street to West 66th Place. City of Hialeah has 2 applications. The second one is a Section 12 sidewalk improvement. Add sidewalk and ADA ramps once you get there. Improvements on all corners from West 12th Avenue to West 8th Avenue and from West 32nd Street to West 37th Street. This is a sidewalk improvement effort. And they're asking for $252,000. That the most you can ask for on these projects are $1 million, which most people ask for. Applicant number 5, which is City of Miami. Unfortunately, we don't have that one on Google Earth. It's the we're familiar with the I-395 underdeck Baywalk connection to Northeast 13th Street from Biscayne Boulevard to Biscayne Bay, which is to connect the underdeck and Heritage Trail to the Baywalk. The City of Miami intends to expand the lease agreement with FDOT to provide the connection from the Baywalk to Northeast 13th Street. The connection will be a wide path with landscape elements to provide a safe and attractive connection to Baywalk. And we go to number 6, which is also City of Miami applicant. This is the Miami River Greenway, Northwest 19th Avenue to Northwest 17th Avenue. Provide for a publicly accessible pathway for bicyclists and pedestrians in concert with the roadway reconstruction of Northwest North River Drive. This public pedestrian and bicycle trail along the historic Miami River will connect diverse multicultural neighborhoods, public parks, residences, historical sites, businesses, and cultural attractions around the waterway. This is applicant number 6. Now we can move to applicant number 7, which is the City of Miami Beach. Okay. This is the Meridian Avenue Shared Use Path to enhance the bicycle and pedestrian network in Miami Beach in compliance with the adopted Bicycle Pedestrian Master Plan. The project consists of final design and construction of a 10-foot shared use path on the west side of Meridian Avenue from Dade Boulevard to 28th Street. Applicant number 8 is City of North Miami. This is a pedestrian bridge replacement over the canal, the Biscayne Canal. Replace the existing pedestrian bridge over the South Florida Water Management District C8 Canal, Biscayne Canal. The existing bridge is located between Northeast 2nd Avenue and Griffin Boulevard, approximately 1,400 feet south of the existing Northeast 135th Street vehicular bridge. Applicant number 9, City of South Miami. Now, they've received money already before for the construction phase. I believe this is for the design of it. They're asking for $400,000 to provide a safe elevator route for non-drivers to travel between northwest and southeast sides of the 6-lane arterial US 1 through development of a pedestrian bridge. This will connect it to the old bakery, what used to be called the Bakery Center. Applicant number 10, unfortunately, we do not have a Google Earth video, but it's the South Miami, well, close to here, culvert replacement to Southwest 64th Court over Twin Lakes Canal. to replace the structurally deficient corrugated metal pipe culvert located at Southwest 64th Court within the Twin Lakes Canal in South Miami with a new structure, thus providing greater connectivity between the Manor Lane neighborhood and existing Metro Rail and businesses in the area and promoting pedestrian safety. This was one of those that was deemed ineligible by FDOT early in the process and then reinserted as determined eligible by FHWA. That was number 10. If we can now move to applicant number 11, City of Sunny Isles Beach. This is for the William Lehman Causeway protected bicycle and pedestrian path. To improve the design and function of the bicycle lane on State Road 856, William Lehman Causeway, by expanding its use to include pedestrians and installing protected barrier along pedestrian safer connection for pedestrians and cyclists commuting between Sunny Isles Beach and Aventura. Now this one has been determined ineligible. So this one you will not be ranking. This determined eligible FDOT, they have to, in order to remove a lane, it has to be approved by them beforehand. So this one does not, you won't be ranking number 11, this one here.
Oscar,
Yes.
talking to the city of Sunny Isles, FDOT is taking care of the project themselves. It's good.
They're working with them, and they're the ones that determine it ineligible. They have to work with them in order to do this because this is a state road, 856. They have to work with them. This is a state road.
Yeah, but I think Juan's saying there's money, I mean, that the FDOT's just gonna do it, right?
That's what I understood.
Okay.
Probably. I could ask and follow up.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, number 12, City of West Miami. Okay, this is to implement the recommendations of a smart move study, which assess traffic and crash conditions in the city at various locations. The project will also improve safety to and from the an elementary school by adding traffic circles and crosswalks. Number 13 is a request from the Department of Transportation and Public Works. They actually have 3 applications in. This one is for the Commodore Trail missing link, road diet, and buffered lanes along South Miami Avenue to improve safety and connectivity for bicyclists that use the Commodore Trail for commuting and recreational purposes. The Commodore Trail is a highly active trail that extends from the Cocoa Plum Circle in Coral Gables to the Alice Wainwright Park. We'll go to number 14. This is another Department of Transportation and Public Works application. This is for first and last mile connection to the Aventura Brightline Station and the Aventura Bus Terminal to provide bicycle connectivity along West Dixie Highway to the Aventura Brightline Station and the Aventura Bus Terminal. It also aims to improve bicycle travel from Olita Park through the city of North Miami Beach to Reynolds Park and to the Miami-Dade Broward County line. Okay, number 15 is another DTPW application. Highlighting conflict points along Southwest 137th Avenue bicycle lanes. To highlight conflict points along the existing bicycle lanes of Southwest 137th Avenue from Southwest 344th Street to Waterstone Boulevard, approximately Southwest 309th Street, while improving the riding surface for cyclists and vehicles. Southwest 137th is a multi-lane road with a posted speed of 40 miles per hour. Applicant number 16, Miami Shores Village. They're applying for an intersection improvement project to improve ADA compliant crosswalks along the village's local roadways, to improve pedestrian safety along two main roadways within the village that lead to local schools and a community park. Application number 17 is a Miami-Dade County Parks and Recreations and Open Spaces Department, or they call themselves PROS. This is for the Ludlam Trail West Flagler Street Trail Overpass. To construct a shared use bridge overpass across West Flagler Street, that makes sense. Florida Department of Transportation right-of-way located west of Southwest 69th Avenue along the Ludlam Trail corridor. The proposed bridge will span approximately 100 linear feet. North Bay Village is application number 18. This is one that was determined ineligible. This is another street lane closure or elimination, which FDOT has to approve beforehand. So you will not be ranking number 18. Number 19 is the town of Cutler Bay. Cutler Bay Southwest 82nd Avenue roadway improvements. To implement traffic calming techniques along Southwest 82nd Avenue from Southwest 184th Street, which is their terminus, the city or town's perimeter, to Old Cutler Road. Planned improvements include the installation of one traffic roundabout, improved drainage as required, new sidewalks to eliminate gaps along Southwest 184th Street, ADA ramps, and painting of bicycle sharrows along the projected path. Unfortunately, we're missing on Google Earth items application numbers 20, 21, and 22, but I'll read out loud their descriptions. Application number 20 is the town of Miami Lakes Business Park East Pedestrian and ADA Improvements Phase 1 project. Design, permit, and construct new 6-foot sidewalks and pedestrian safety related infrastructure in compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act to safely connect people to jobs, industries, shared use path on Northwest 139th Street from Northwest 60th Avenue to Northwest 57th Court, northward to Northwest 142nd Street, including Northwest 59th Avenue, Northwest 58th Court, Northwest 58th Avenue, and Northwest 57th Court. Item 21 is the town of Surfside pedestrian safety infrastructure improvements to improve and enhance pedestrian crossing locations in the town of Surfside, specifically signalized lighted crosswalks and lighted signs per MUTCD at State Road A1A, Harding Avenue, and 89th Street and 90th Street intersections. The University of Miami is application number 22, School of Medicine. Sustainability and expansion of the Walk Safe and Bike Safe programs for K-8 grades in Miami-Dade County. Educate elementary and middle school age children and families in the importance of walking and pedestrian cycling safety and injury protection. To sustain and expand the Walk Safe and Bike Safe programs in Miami-Dade County. Application number 23. Palmetto Bay Subbasin 11 improvements. To help eliminate flooding to specified roadways and connected side streets in the village of Palmetto Bay Subbasin 11, which is a 48.37 acre area of single-family homes and commercial development. Application number 24, Village of Pinecrest, Southwest 88th Street Planning. To conduct a planning process within the community on the best form of complete streets for this corridor, which has heavy traffic, both auto and pedestrian during peak times. This project is only 1,800 feet from the Metro Rail North Station and includes 2 schools, and they're asking for $80,000. And applicant number 25, last but not least, Village of Pinecrest, Southwest 82nd Avenue Complete Streets Planning Project. To conduct a planning process with the residents and stakeholders on the best form of complete streets for this corridor on Southwest 82nd Avenue from 120th Street to 136th Street. And they're asking for $75,000. And those are the Google Earth images of the 25 applications.
Okay, thank you, Oscar. So do you want to just, I mean, almost everyone has done this before, right? I think everyone's done this.
Maybe not Richard.
Or Richard, have you? I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe not Richard.
Yeah, he said he's nodding yes, I believe.
I did it last year.
Okay.
Oh, you did do it? Okay, so it's a repeat of what we've been doing for years. So how do you want to handle this? Oscar, do you want everyone just to take your new form, which you just sent to this afternoon, which is this one, highlight it, rank it, or whatever? And
Yes, if you could do it electronically on the spreadsheet, if you have access to Excel and open the form, if you could just insert your numbers on that last column called rank 1 through 5, and just return it to me electronically, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you have to scan it, that's fine too. If you have to do it by phone, I don't know. I know most everybody's at home, and I don't know what capabilities they have to do these things.
Can we fax it?
Yes, well, yes, you can fax it to my attention, and let me give you the number, because I'm going to the office tomorrow, so I can just pick it up there.
That's
The
great.
number, yeah, 305-375-4950.
Okay.
Thank you.
but yeah. So if everyone just could get those in tomorrow or Friday at the latest, so Oscar doesn't have to bug you again, you know, for the info. And then from what I recollect, this will be thrown in, our comments, our rankings will be thrown into the pot with every other committee and whoever else reviews this. And then they'll total these, correct? And then rank them officially.
Yes, the TPO gets 125 total points. 15 of those points are the 3 different committees that rank them, BPAC, CTAC, and TARC. So we represent 5 points of those total points.
Okay.
That's just as an FYI. Last year, they awarded, I think, almost all the projects because there was so few applicants. It was roughly $7.5 million. This year, we probably have that much. FDOT should have that much money or less because of the gas taxes have gone down. Just in case you have an idea, we don't know what that number is yet, and we won't know till several months from now exactly what that number is. But at least to give you an idea, how much should be available.
Right. So whatever that pot of money is, if it's 5 million, and there are 10 projects ranked, and the first 5 want $1 million, then they only those 5 get money.
That's it. Yeah, the cutoff will be the money.
Right. It's the money thing. You just subtract from 1, 2, 3, go down the list until you're out of money. So
Because ultimately, all these projects are ranked in order.
right. I mean, a total combined ranking in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, well, thanks everyone. Like I said, just try not to forget and get it in today or tomorrow if you can, and your ranking, and then they can compile that information. Is there anything else, Oscar?
No, I appreciate everyone's time on this and getting your rankings to me as soon as possible.
Any comments by any committee members?
Just glad to see everybody.
I know it's good, a good turnout today. Thank you. So the next workshop, if we've not been ordered to go back in person yet, or if Oscar can't figure it out, our next workshop will be April 21st. In about a month.
Yeah, and I know Debbie had asked for some time now for Southwest 37th Avenue, the Douglas Road Station, and I'm working with DTPW. Hopefully, that'll be the next presentation.
Okay, I got a web. I get this, whatever it is, a blog, and they're actually going to break construction on another building in that area. So yeah, I'd like to really see what's going on. I think they topped out on the 37-story building, probably.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's US 1 completely.
Yeah, I know.
So not in a good way.
now transit-oriented developments. So.
UD.
Canyon.
Anyway, if no one has any other comments, I'd like to adjourn the meeting at whatever time it is. It is 5:07.
Right.
All right.
Okay, thank you, everyone, and see you next
Bye.
month.